you went to law school, everybody tells you, hey, you're good, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be successful, you're going to work at a successful law firm. If you start something like trading, the market will humble you very quickly, and that happened to me. I am blessed enough or lucky enough that I have over $100,000 in payouts. Most traders don't have confidence in that they can get funding or can get payouts. The only way you can get confidence is to get proof. What happens if I fail? But what if you took the step? The worst case scenario is that you fail on your trading or you fail in your business and you need to go back to your 9 to 5. But if that is the worst case scenario, that means you are currently living your worst case scenario.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another podcast. It's Fabio, and today I'm here with Dion, one of the best ICT traders in the game. But not only ICT, he's traded many different concepts, and today he is going to share what it's like to be a full-time trader. Now, what I know from full-time traders, or what you might think of full-time traders, is not always true, because full-time traders don't actually sit behind their screens for 40 hours a week, from what I at least understand. Dion has been traveling the world from Vietnam to Costa Rica. This man has seen it all, and today he's going to be giving us a little bit more insights into his journey. So, Dion, can you maybe share a little bit more about yourself? Who are you? How do you trade? Where are you from? And let's just dive in.
Thank you, Fabio, for having me. Yeah, it's awesome to be here. I'm from the Netherlands. We've met here, and I live the majority of the year. I live in abroad. Trading allows me to do that. I trade mainly prop firms with ICT. We're going to touch on that a lot as well, on prop firms versus personal capital. And
let's just talk about, first of all, how did you get into trading?
That was actually in 2017 when the crypto bull run was there. I made a 17x on XRP.
Same.
Nice. But only with $100. I made $1,700 from that, and cashed it all, went on holiday, and never looked back again until the next bull run, 2020, 2021. And I met a guy on an event who was day trading. I was like, hey, I remember that from XRP. That was cool. Can you maybe introduce me to your mentor? He said, yeah, sure. So I paid his mentor some money, and that person got me into trading with market structure, with just basic candlesticks, and the ball started rolling from there.
And was it straight away a success?
No. I had a job at the time, just fresh out of law school. And I have money to spend from that job at very low cost of living. So I had a lot of money to spend on challenges, and I lost a lot.
And how did it then start? Like, what was the strategy like? Because you're talking about this mentor. Like what kind of mentor was it? Was it somebody that he found online, or how did he trade? Like, let's talk a little bit more about the story of how you really kind of like start to build a strategy, and then how you started spending money on those challenges. So let's start at the beginning. Like, what kind of strategy did he trade?
It was just basic market structure. Kind of support and resistance with a little smart money concept like ICT involved in it. He learned me the market structure and the candlesticks, and then I went on YouTube, just a YouTube grind, hundreds of hours of videos, trying every strategy of the book. And after a few months, I got like 4 or 5 strategies that seems to work, like 90% win rate. Gurus, I was following all of those.
Yeah,
tried them all, and I was ready with those 90% win rate strategies. I was ready to attack the prop firms with the money I had from my job, from my salary.
Yeah, and then you just hopelessly failed, or?
Yeah. I think in total I spent over 50 or 60K in total, combined with challenges and some personal money that I lost.
That's madness.
In like maybe under a year.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more about that then. Where did it start, man? Like, what, you just started buying one challenge, or did you start buying multiple challenges at a time? Did you try to pass 5 challenges at the same time? Where did it start?
Yeah, most people talk about revenge trading.
Yeah.
I was revenge prop firm.
Passing.
Like, every time I lost a challenge, I just bought one challenge. Most of the time 100K, so around $500.
Yeah.
And every time I blew one in an afternoon, there were afternoons where I bought 300 or 400Ks in one afternoon and blew them all.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's like a casino.
It was. Yeah.
But you had a strategy to attempt to pass those challenges then. Where did it go? Where did it go wrong? Was it in the risk? What were you not aware of that it really kind of like took such a big toll on you?
It starts with having a very big ego.
Yeah.
If you went to law school, everybody tells you, hey, you're good, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be successful, you're going to work at a successful law firm, you're good. But if you start something like trading, the market will humble you very quickly, and that happened to me. I wanted to be always right. And as you know, as a trader, you are never always right.
Yeah.
And for most traders, you are right 40, 50% of the time, and you still make money. And I was expecting to win all my trades. And when I lost a few, like when I lost one, it was okay. But after 2, 3, something just the monkey brain got activated, and I start over leveraging, over trading, everything.
And where did that switch then start? Because obviously now you've made a lot of success with trading and you're able to travel and make it, or trading is your full-time, let's say, occupation.
Yeah.
Where did you start making that shift where you went then from that revenge prop firm passing or attempt to pass into actually then starting to do payouts? Like what caused that mindset shift? Because I think a lot of people watching as well have experienced that as well. Even myself, like when I first started buying prop firm challenges, indeed, like yourself, like you buy one, you fail, you buy one, you fail, you buy one, you fail, and you feel like you're in this endless loop of not being able to pass a challenge. Like where did for you that shift take place?
This cycle of buying and blowing prop firm challenges took me about 2 or 3 years, consistently like losing. And I got a mentor. I paid quite a lot of money for him. Not to learn me new technicals. Like the technical part was okay. Like I put in the work. I know what the technicals are, but like the mental side, that was where I was lacking. Of course, I was tilted very quickly. So that mentor learned me how to lose. And how he did that was very simple, actually. Can I share that?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. He said, what if you take a trade, you set your stop loss, you set your TP, and you do nothing? So no partials, no moving your stop to break even, don't touch it. And what will happen is, at first, you will feel very anxious, very uncomfortable, because what you do when touching your trade is trying to have control over a situation where you don't have control over. Yeah. We want to have control in our lives, especially when we're in trade. We see the trade going on drawdown into minus, but especially when the trade goes into profit, you're like, I don't want to lose this paper profits. I can buy a car from this paper profits. I can go on holiday from this paper profits. I don't want to lose that. So you're going to move your stop loss. You're going to take partials. And he learned me to not do that. Just take your trade as or TP or stop loss. That's it.
So at that moment, you were already profitable trading the technical side, but let's say the strategy was profitable. It was just that you were not profitable because there was a massive lack of that psychological development or having that high psychological level.
Exactly. My winning trades were beautiful, like technical beauties, but the losing trades were just amateur hour.
Yeah.
And you saw my lack of mental maturity in my trades.
Yeah, I think that's a big issue that a lot of people face nowadays, because there's obviously a massive difference between being a very good analyst and a very good trader, right? What's your opinion on that? Because in my few years that I've been in trading, and it's been also around since 2019, like I've seen so many people who, for example, and you see a lot of these online communities, Discord, Telegram, where anybody can share a chart and then they say, aha, okay, price is most likely going to move from point A towards point B based on these set of confluences. And then it moves exactly there. And then afterwards they say, aha, look at what just played out. But then actually being able to make money on that move, that is a whole different game. What's your perspective on that?
I do agree with that. I think it starts with trying to not be perfect, especially with your entries and with your trades in general. I think after a few years as a trader or an analyst, you can tell if the market is more likely going to go up or down. So your bias is not the biggest problem. It is waiting for your entry, but also being okay with your entry being late to the party, knowing that you should have gone in maybe 30 minutes ago or maybe 5 hours ago. You just go in, have a bigger stop loss, so less risk to reward, and still be fine with that. Because if your bias is right, you will make money, but maybe less than your original idea.
Yeah.
But stop being like trying to be perfect was a major shift for me as well.
Yeah.
If you look at my executions compared to my analysis, it is different. I'm always late to the party. Like my execution is not good and I make money.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be perfect to start making money.
Well said. So you don't need to be perfect in order to make money. But what do you need to be then? You need to be consistent. What do you need to be in your opinion?
I think you need to focus on making less mistakes instead of trying to make more wins.
Yeah.
Most traders don't fail because they cannot make winning trades, but their mistakes are just too many. So, for example, you make 5 mistakes this week, just focus on making 4 mistakes next week and 3 mistakes the week after. And after a few weeks, you start to notice like, hey, I used to make like 5 mistakes in a week and now I only do 1. Still, you don't make money, but it's a huge improvement.
So less is more over time, pretty much. It's kind of like what the focus is.
Yeah.
Because I think what also adds very well to what you're kind of trying to explain is that what a lot of people think is that when you are a day trader, because I want to talk a little bit about your strategy more in a second, but before we dive into that, what a lot of people think is that when you are a day trader or when you are a trader, it means that you need to be trading every single day. You need to be behind your screen every single day, seeing what the markets are doing. But actually what you are is you're just a sniper, right? You're just sitting in the bushes waiting for that one or two setups to play out that will actually make your month. Because at the end of the day, if you trade every single day and you, as a lot of people online proclaim to be profitable, like people think, okay, so if you're a profitable trader and you trade every single day, it means that you make money every single day or you make 3% every single day. But that's just simply not the truth, right? Because if we look at it from a realistic perspective, most traders will only make around 2 to 4% a month, right? Which if you risk 1% on your prop firm account and use a 1 to 2 RR, you kind of already hit like the average monthly return that the biggest hedge funds in the world do. What do you think of that, and what's kind of like your perspective on that? Because a lot of people don't really agree with me when I say it like that. Because, for example, myself, I only take like 2 trades, maybe 3 trades, sometimes even in a month, just because I really sit it out and I say, okay, to myself, I just want that 2 to 4% return a month, and then I'm happy. But a lot of people say like, no, like you need to be more aggressive. You have to be in the markets. What's your perspective on that?
I think it depends on your trader identity. So if you're a swing trader, yes, take maybe 5 to 10 trades per month max. If you're more a day trader or a scalper as identity, you are forced because of your strategy to execute more, but not every day. No. And trading is, what sucks about trading is that you need to show up every single day.
Yeah.
You need to be there to see if your setup comes.
But it's not always a result.
Exactly. You can show up more than you would at your 9 to 5, maybe double than your 9 to 5, and lose your monthly salary instead of gaining your monthly salary.
It's like going to the gym, but not getting that 6-pack.
Getting fat going to the gym, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In a way it is, right? Now, fantastic. Let's talk a little bit more about the strategy itself. So at the beginning of the video, I said, hey, Dion, you trade ICT. Is it true? Like, what do you trade?
Yes, I trade mainly ICT. Learned it from the YouTube videos. I believe in the mantra, don't buy courses, buy mentors.
Yeah.
Because everything, the technicals, everything is available for free. You have an amazing YouTube channel where you can learn a lot about supply and demand. ICT, like the cult leader. ICT is mostly referred to as a cult.
Yeah.
Like the Inner Circle Trader has like hundreds of YouTube videos where I learned everything from. So no courses, nothing. And my strategy is mostly involved around his concepts. Both I have a intraday strategy and also have a swing strategy. I do both.
Okay. And can you maybe walk me through a setup of what you look at? Because I know ICT often means NASDAQ. Like, is that the case with you?
Yeah. The indices and futures is mainly used for ICT, especially intraday.
Yeah.
I think you can use the concepts also on Forex, on metals, on crypto.
Yeah.
It's less popular. So what I do in my intraday strategies are on NASDAQ. So every single open, I have my strategy. We can touch on that in a second. And for intraday, I go to the 1-4 hour time frame, basically waiting for trending conditions and trade with the trend using the ICT concepts. And what I like, I was looking at your trades the other day, and we take the exact same setups from the high time frame using different concepts.
Yeah. Yeah, because the way that I, for example, and I know like ICT often and means fair value gap, right? So what is a fair value gap? A fair value gap is pretty much from the top wick of that lower candle towards the bottom wick of, let's say, the second candle after that. So you kind of like form a zone. Now, that's what ICT traders would call a fair value gap. But if you then, for example, myself, who trades mainly supply and demand, I then just look at, let's say, the bottom wick of his zone, and I would just say, oh, that's a liquidity low. So I just want to see that low get swiped. But for me, that is for him, or for me, that's a low swipe. For him, that's going to be a tap into his zone. And at the end of the day, then we're still both looking for kind of like the continuation back up higher. So it's funny to see always when you talk with other traders, like there's not always going to be like that one holy grail strategy that a lot of people think that there is, because you can make money in whatever way. And to that, we should be more maybe acceptant of each other. So anybody there out beefing, and I see this mainly on kind of like X, on those discussions that people really say it's ICT versus this or this versus that, like there's no right way, right, in order to trade. Now, you said you trade intraday and you trade swing.
Yeah.
How do you combine that with then traveling the world?
The swing trading works for itself. Like, I don't need a perfect entry on my swings. For example, at the time of recording, we have FOMC coming up, potential rate cuts coming up. based on rate cuts, you can anticipate price, especially for example Nasdaq, the stock markets, to go higher because there's more money coming into the markets. So your swings are focused on long. So traveling with swings is easy.
Yeah.
Traveling with intraday trading is harder because sometimes you are traveling during the sessions and you live in different time zones. For me, I try to travel to Asia more because the time zone is pretty good there. The New York session starts after dinner, so around 8:30, and London session starts after lunch.
Yeah.
So basically, you have the morning always like off. You can do some work, you can hang out, do some sports, and then your work day, your trade day starts after lunch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I hear a lot of traders as well who say like, no, I hate Asia because, but then obviously it's kind of maybe a younger demographic that tends to say that because in the evenings in Asia, they obviously want to go for dinner, they want to go party. But for you, that's not a problem being in Asia?
No, I work every day. And if I'm not working, I'm or playing sports or playing video games or read a book or hang out with family.
Yeah.
I don't do the parties. So that's very personal. If you want to party, don't go to Asia. Go to the other side of the world, more like the US time zones, where the New York Open is at 9:30 a.m. EST.
Yeah.
You trade for a few hours in the morning, and you can do whatever you want in the afternoon. It's personal preference, but I like Asia more.
Okay. What do you like more specifically about Asia? Is it the lifestyle or?
It's a mix of better foods, great climate, great people. A lot of like digital nomads, like people who also work online from the laptop to meet. So great people, great food, great climate. I think you can get the same also elsewhere. Like it's not per se Asia is good in that, but if you combine that with the trading time zones, that's a perfect match for me.
Now, I think you're kind of like, in a way, also kind of like the stereotype of the trader nomad that a lot of people dream to one day be. And often online, a lot of people say that is kind of like the dream, to travel the world and to trade. But for a lot of people, I don't think this is always going to be the case, because for some people, trading is just purely, for example, making a second income, as it's something that obviously to learn, it costs a lot of time. But once you master the skill, you can kind of like, you don't have to spend as much time on it as most people really proclaim, because being a full-time trader doesn't mean you have to sit behind the charts 40 hours a week, right? You can also just kind of like do it, let's say 1 or 2 hours a day.
100%. It's very personal. There's a framework from Timothy Ferriss, the 4-Hour Work Week, where he talks about dreamlining, where you write down your goals, write down the things you actually want to do in your life, and you basically reverse engineer how you can go to those goals with daily steps, like basic goal or habit stacking. And for me, that was going to Asia, going to live, or like I lived in Bali, I lived in Vietnam, I lived in many countries, but going to that area of the world to try like, hey, can I do this also in Asia? But maybe for some, it's like, hey, I have kids, I have a beautiful partner, I want to stay where I'm right now, but I just want to spend more time with them.
Yeah.
So maybe if I can work 3 days less per week and spend all the time with them, that is my dream. Let's all start with what you actually want to do and basically use trading as a vehicle to get there.
Exactly. Well said. Now, let's engineer a framework here together for people watching who want to trade and, let's say, create what we were just explaining, where they have, for example, a job right now, because most people watching this probably have a job at the moment, and do trading to generate an extra income. Where should they start, and how can they go from somebody who is, for example, now watching this and hasn't yet passed a challenge to indeed, okay, passing a challenge, having a live capital, and then being able to create an extra income to generate a little bit more freedom in their life? Where would they start, or where should they start?
It starts with a very curious mindset with YouTube open on your laptop. You can start with learn how to day trade in 2025. Watch 5 or 10 hours long beginner boot camps from like you have very nice videos on that. There's so many people who have basic beginner boot camps. Learn about candlesticks, learn about market structure, and figure it out the basics on your own. Like you don't need a mentor for that. You don't need a course for that. It's all right there for the taking. At some point, you will get information overload or analysis paralysis. You know too much, and you have no clue how to put all those puzzle pieces together in one nice trade plan entry model. I think there you need a mentor for. So try to find some help, maybe in your surroundings. Find someone who is already trading, and you can ask like, hey, how do I fix this?
Yeah.
And use that trade plan or entry model to start taking actual trades. I think to make money in trading, you need an entry model and a place to trade. A place to trade is or personal capital or prop firms. My opinion is if you don't have at least 100 or 200K personal capital that you can basically lose on trading, prop firms always is the solution because you have, for a few bucks, you can already get a large amount of capital. So start messing around. And I said messing around on purpose, messing around with the prop firms. Not like me for 3 years, blowing all my salaries. Do it a little more responsible.
Yeah, I think a responsible way to kind of like start getting involved with prop firms would be buying, let's say, a 5K account. I think 5K accounts nowadays go for what, like $60, $70, something like that. And then use that account to build a track record. Trade it with extremely low risk. The reason that I'm saying like do this with a prop firm and buy that 5K account is because you're going to be trading on a little bit bigger capital than, for example, yourself just depositing $200, right? And not really taking it serious. A 5K account you'll take relatively serious. And then straight away, you'll also be able to use the analytics platform of the prop firm itself to kind of see, okay, when is the best entry time or what is the best risk to reward that I can potentially use. And then start getting a feeling for trading on that capital and then using that experience to eventually scale up, right? I think that is maybe a potential way to kind of like start to get warm with prop firms, if I can say it in that way. Now, moving on into then actually, okay, making an income with those prop firms like you're doing yourself.
Yeah.
What is now the next goal? Where do you want to kind of like move towards? Is it now just using prop firm capital to kind of like take that out and put it into a personal account? What's kind of like the next step? Is prop firm trading the end game for you or for traders, or should it be the end game for traders?
I think it depends on your end goal. For most traders, you can get to your trading goals. For most traders, it's like having an extra 5 or 10K per month is already their dream goal for trading. You can achieve that with prop firms very easily. You have a 200K account and you only need a few percent on your account to get to that 5 or 10K per month. I want to use prop firms for personal capital as well. I am building my personal account right now, and like I am blessed enough or lucky enough that I have over $100,000 in payouts. Like that took, of course, a lot of losing, but I have some money now that I can put into personal. But still, I think I can make more money on prop firms. Still now with over $100,000, I can make more money with prop firms per month than I can on my personal account.
Yeah.
And I also am not at risk of losing all that personal account. If I, for example, my ego is coming back, I have a very bad day or a tilting day, and I just feel like over leveraging all that account. I feel, and that's I think my own comfort zone, I feel very comfortable inside the prop firm world and playing those challenges maybe more aggressively.
Yeah.
Instead of risking my own money.
Okay, well said. Now, what challenge should they then use if they want to start really fully going in the prop firm route like yourself? What challenge do you recommend?
You mean what prop firm challenge?
Yeah, so what kind of prop firm challenge? So for example, the trading pit has like a 1-phase, a 2-phase. Some prop firms even have instant funding, which personally, I tend to stay away from that. Like, what do you recommend?
Yeah, if you start with prop firms, it's you need to be familiar with the FAQs, rules like the consistency rule, trailing drawdowns, equity or intraday, minimum trading days. There are so many extra rules that come with the different kind of challenges you pick. For example, the standard prop firm challenge is 2-step, where you have like 8 or 10% in phase 1, 5% in phase 2. Those in general have the least amount of rules, which I like. But if you want to go faster, if you want to get funded faster, 1-steps or instant funding, the marketing machine says you're going faster, but there are so many extra rules in many of those challenges that if you're actually going to trade that, you're not passing it faster. So I think if you start with the basic 2 steps, build proof that you can actually do it. Most traders don't have confidence in that they can get funding or can get payouts. The only way you can get confidence is to get proof that you are the person who can actually pass a challenge. Just do it on the easy mode without any extra rules. Just take your trades, get to the profit target, and get funding.
Well said. And what has been your actual biggest payout with a prop firm so far in your journey?
My biggest individual payout is not that big. I think it's 7.5. I like to do base hits.
Yeah.
Most of my fund accounts are 100Ks, 150Ks.
Well, then 7.5K on a 100K account is fantastic. 7.5% return.
It's pretty impressive, I think. But of course, I also have people above me who I see grinding 50, 60K payouts. And I'm a small fish compared to them. Like comparison is of course, the thief of joy.
Yeah. Very well
like,
said.
Of course, for many traders, 7.5K will be very awesome. For me, it's
Yeah.
now the baseline. I want to get more. I want to get higher. So yeah, I think 7.5, yeah.
But do you think it's doable then to do consistent 50K payouts on a 100K account?
If on 100, no, I think if you want to go to 50K payouts, I think you need to copy trade.
Yeah, or you need a 400K account maybe.
Yeah, but still, then it's pretty high percentage. Like what I like to do is just risk 1 or 1.5% on a funding, get 1 to 2, 1 to 3.
Yeah.
And run for the hills when I pay out. Just wait,
Exactly.
wait for the payout date, let it pay out, start over, because then you have that extra money. You can reinvest again in more challenges.
Yeah, yeah. I always advise as well, like go for the lower payout, but then just scale the amount of capital, let's say, with the amount of challenges or the amount of funded accounts that you're using. So scale horizontally, don't scale vertically. So get, let's say, 20 different 100K accounts. Try and scale those instead of just doing on one account. Try and do 50%. That's, in my opinion, the way to go. Now, let's talk a little bit more about also your lifestyle, your trader lifestyle as well. What is it like to really be able to have that freedom? And maybe you can kind of like, make people at home understand that a little bit more, what the benefits are of having so much freedom as a trader and why you love trading so much.
Yeah, full-time trading is a blessing and a curse. We're going to touch on the blessing now. It gives the freedom to go wherever you want, whenever you want, with the people you love the most. For me, that's Asia, but if you want to just spend more time with your family, that's awesome as well. Don't forget that full-time trading is not full-time work. So I look at the markets maybe an hour per day, maybe 2 hours per day. I will not preach here that I look at the market for 5 minutes per day because I look at TradingView a lot.
Yeah.
And also, the market is your biggest mistress. Like, even if you're not in the market, you think about the market all the time, especially when you're in a trade.
Yeah. It's like you're in a full-time relationship.
You are, yeah. I think traders have a hard time to cheat because their mind is already with another woman. And that's TradingView, that's the market. So full-time trading is really nice. It gives a lot of freedom. It also is a curse because you have time. And for most people, they don't know what to do with their time. They're used to their program to live working a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And if you now, for example, you wake up, you take a trade, and at 11 a.m., you're like, what do I need to do with my day? Most full-time traders, also the one I've coached, they go full-time and they're like, what do I do with my day? So they start spending 8-9 hours on the charts per day because they think that is full-time trading. And they start losing accounts, they start blowing them. And their whole reason why they want to go full-time, they created their own trading prison almost. Like they cannot go outside of their trading prison anymore. So the blessing is freedom, location freedom, time freedom. But most traders, especially to start full-time, it is not a freedom. It's the opposite. It's the prison.
Yeah.
And that's a very dangerous place.
The golden cage.
The golden cage, yes.
Okay, well said. Now let's talk about 2 more tips that you would get every beginner trader watching this video. What are the 2 most important tips that you would like to pass on to a trader who is currently looking to pass a prop firm challenge?
Unfollow most of the gurus. I'm not saying unfollow it because you cannot learn from them, but because you start to compare them. Everyone has their own journey. It's gonna take a lot more time than you think. It's going to take an unreasonable amount of time, willpower, and units of time you need to put in before you're ever going to make money. And on top of that, expect to be slapped around by the market, like punched in the face, kicked to the ground. Many times than a sane person can survive. If you still want to do that, go ahead and start training.
Why would you recommend the trading pit to any beginner trader out there?
There are a lot of prop firms out there, and it's hard to distinct one prop firm from another. For me personally, what I like the trading pit and what I like in prop firms in general is if they have challenges that are fair, like no crazy rules, no unreasonable rules to pass. And when you pass, the route from funding to payouts should be as short as possible. And when you have a payout, no bullshit, no BS, no extra interviews, no extra calls, no delays. Just, hey, congrats on your payout. We appreciate it. If your risk is maybe not good, we will tell you, but after we pay you out. Like you can say, hey, you have 3K payout, for example, but the risk you showed was a little too much that we like on a prop firm. That's pretty fair for a prop firm to say. But they need to say that after you get the payout. It's like, hey, for next payout, if you're going to shoot the same risk, then we're going to say like, hey, we warned you for this. And the Trading Pit does an amazing job in that.
Now, obviously, when you hear all those online stories about people saying, stop your job, quit your job, get trading. And I see a lot of traders as well, when they get their first payout, now is the time then maybe to stop my job. Like, why would you recommend traders to go all in on themselves to start doing full-time trading?
This is a framework one of my mentors shared with me. And what he said was, currently, you are working 9 to 5. And you feel scared about making the jump, the leap of faith to go all in on yourself. It can be trading, it can be anything in life. But going all in on yourself, leaving your old life behind. Most people are not taking that step because they're too scared for the consequences, too scared of what happens if I fail. But what if you took the step? And the worst case scenario that can happen is that you fail on your trading or you fail in your business. The worst thing can happen is that you fail and you need to go back to your 9 to 5 job and your 9 to 5 life you left behind. But if that is the worst case scenario, that means you are currently living your worst case scenario. So you might as well take the jump and don't live your worst case scenario.
Very well said. I think that's a perfect roundup of everything that we discussed today, especially more specifically going in on why you should definitely go full in or all in on trading and why it's, in our opinion, I think the best profession. Can we call it a profession? Profession or hobby?
Addiction.
Addiction. Let's call it an addiction. The best addiction to have in the world. Guys, I want to thank you so much all for taking the time to watch this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you want any of your own questions asked in the future to traders like Dion himself who have achieved major success with the Trading Pit, then let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next interview. Thanks, guys.